Well, Greenwood Mourinho reunion is on. Looks like Mourinho is one of the secret admirers of Mason Greenwood and is putting to see it that he really gets him back into his team. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys? And we're watching us from I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And now we are discussing Hary Kane. The reason as to why United opted out of the Hary Kane deal has been revealed by a United correspondent that is so much known for all of what we really have to say about United. And lastly, we are going to discuss the current situation of David De Gea. You know, the Athletic, a very credible source, has gone ahead and revealed to us more about this deal. So let's see close to 200 or 300 likes smash on this video. Don't forget to subscribe. We are less by limited subscribers to hit 14,000 subscribers, and today is 28th, meaning that we are just 3 days away from calling it a month of June. That is it. So we need to subscribe. If at all you are new, and if at all you're watching us for the very first time, continue to subscribe so as to miss out stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, let's go on. Rock and David is my name, all RD. You can call me that name. Now, we've gotten a story coming in from Sunsport that Roma are interested in signing Mason Greenwood on a long season loan deal. Now, each and every time you see Roma coming in, the Sun coming in through and obviously trying to do something concerning Mason Greenwood, just know they are being fed in by a source coming in from Mason Greenwood, because they have been so concrete and accurate when it comes to Mason Greenwood stories. They've gone ahead to give us lots of stories concerning Mason Greenwood from when his cases were really dropped in February. Ten Hag giving him a call, right? Which other? Him training, her girlfriend being pregnant. It has been all about the Sun, and the Sun are so much concrete onto this story. And AS Roma is managed by Jose Mourinho, formerly the manager of Man United. And this guy has a very, very, very huge admiration for Mason Greenwood. And there is something that most of you never knew, that the Athletic went ahead to reveal to us about Jose Mourinho and Mason Greenwood. And who has gone ahead to reveal to us is Nicky Butt. By that time, Nicky Butt was the head coach of the academy of Man United. And he told us that Mourinho would ask me which players I wanted to move up. He asked me, who is this kid Greenwood? When Mason was just 15, bring him to train with us. And I said we can't because he's at school and there are rules and regulations. So Jose Mourinho called in for Mason Greenwood to start training with the first team of United when Greenwood was just 15 years of age. Can you imagine? And it's 2 years later that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ushers him into the first team of United, and he fires all cylinders. He hit the ground running, and in first season he scored close to 17 goals. 2019-2020, that was his debut season at Man United, and he scored very many goals. That is Mason Greenwood. At the age of 15, he had shown potential, and Mourinho was an admirer of this player. That's why Mourinho is interested in the player, and it's the fresh link up to Mason Greenwood, because other links from Italy have been AC Milan and Juventus. But there is another third force that has come into the mix to say to it that they really see Mason Greenwood really sign up for Manchester United. Let me show you a little bit of how these two really used to bond, especially when he was with Jose Mourinho at Manchester United, because we happen to get some photos here, and that is Mourinho and Mason Greenwood, and Mourinho is pushing in for the reunion of him and Mason Greenwood. You see him there with Mason Greenwood, and this is a training session conducted with Mourinho, Mason Greenwood. This is James Garner, and that is David De Gea. That is United players, and that was under the era of Jose Mourinho. Mourinho was sacked in 2018. That was around December, and that's when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took charge as an interim. And in 2019 March, he was confirmed as the permanent manager of Manchester United, something that was a mistake done by Man United, because no sooner had he been made permanent than we stopped winning and we missed out on the top 4. But remember, when he came in through, he won close to, were they in 8 out of the possible 10 games, and he lost 1, drew 1, and won 8. That is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for you. So it shows you that Mourinho and Mason Greenwood have a very huge bond together, and you never know, that might come to pass. And one thing you have to put in consideration, a story came in from The Sun that Mason Greenwood has put his house on sale. What does that mean? It obviously adds up to this, that maybe United have gone ahead to make up a decision that Mason Greenwood is not going to play for Man United next season. They need to loan him out for one more season and see how he's going to be performing as everything cools down. You know, when he goes in Italy, like to AS Roma, maybe Juventus, maybe AC Milan, and he fires all cylinders, that means he's going to find himself into demand by a huge majority of the fan base of United. That's it. Because every time a player is firing, and scoring goals, trust me, there is the way people forgive those players, and I think that might be the plan of Man United as far as Mason Greenwood is concerned, because as things stand, it is really hard for some fans to forgive him and some fans to really forget him. They really want him back, and there is a portion that doesn't want him back. So the decision is going to be made. I think very soon it's going to be announced. We anticipated that after the final of the FA Cup it was going to be announced, but till now nothing has been announced. But we ask ourselves, why is he putting his house on sale if at all everything is okay? That means there are some question marks onto his future at Man United. That's what's going to have to put his house on sale. Maybe he anticipated that there are coming maybe demonstrations around his home. Maybe he needs to move into another house because of how his wife is pregnant, and they are soon receiving a baby boy coming in from Mason Greenwood. So we don't know exactly, but the links to AS Roma just resonate with what we call the connections to Mason Greenwood putting up his house for rent or for sale. I think he's renting it, meaning that he's going to move out of his house and obviously find somewhere else to go. And is it going to be a transfer to Italy? It's God knows. But let's wait and see what is going to be decided by the board of Man United as far as Mason Greenwood is concerned. But we wait and see what is going to be the new development. But if at all the new development comes in through, obviously we'll be here bringing you the exact information about that latest development. Now, Hary Kane saw himself agree personal terms with Bayern Munich, and he's willing to go on to play in Bayern Munich, and he has found himself in a situation of not being accepted to leave Spurs, as the first bid submitted in by Spurs got rejected by Daniel Levy, the president of Spurs. Now, everyone is asking, how come that Bayern Munich have gone ahead to make a bid first than Man United? United pulled out of the deal of Hary Kane for some reasons that we've gone ahead to be told down here by Laurie Whitwell. And what are those reasons? Those reasons were Man United stepped away from the Hary Kane deal with a clear belief that Daniel Levy will not sell him this summer, especially to a Premier League rival. But there are certainly people close to the situation who feel Levy will agree to sell rather than lose him for free next year. So, you understand, United board believes that it's going to be hard for them to convince Daniel Levy to sell them Hary Kane. And he's calling us a rival, but I've always come out and repeated myself onto this, that we are not a rival to Hary Kane. That's it. Unless otherwise, Daniel Levy doesn't know the meaning of the word rival. He's just trying to treat Spurs as a big team, but Spurs is not a big team. You know, if you think Spurs is a big team, then United is the biggest team, because Spurs is nowhere near Man United in history, and I really understand the situation being put out by Laurie Whitwell. But as Man United, I go ahead and obviously confront them on this, because if you think it's going to take time until August, then who have you signed? Who has United signed if at all they think that it's going to take a lot of time for them to convince Daniel Levy to let Hary Kane come to Man United? Who have they gone ahead to sign? You know, which striker have they offered a bid to the team where he plays from? So that is shit. That is shit, because United is just trying to hide out, you know, in their own shadow, to see it that they find themselves in a situation of getting sympathy that we didn't sign Hary Kane because we had in mind that Daniel Levy will make it hard for us to sign him. I think in life, it's better to try and never fail to try. You rather try the instincts of Daniel Levy and back out, but because the deal is worth £100 million and the Glazers' budget that they've gone ahead to offer to Erik ten Hag is really so small and minute, they've found this as an excuse to really jump out of it. And it's all about money problems, because when they contacted Atalanta told them we want 80 million euros for Rasmus Højlund, 80 million euros, and they are still out of the deal because they don't want to pay money. So the problem is money. If at all they had money, they would have gone ahead to go on and obviously spend big onto this transfer of Hary Kane, because it's what the manager wants. And I've always gone ahead to back Erik ten Hag on what he wants, because even for Mason Mount, I've always said, okay, if at all it's what the manager wants, let them give him what he wants. You know, however much, I don't see Mason Mount as that player that is really so much exceptional, but I've gone out on several occasions and really green-lighted that deal. So, if Erik ten Hag wants Hary Kane, and the board has been knowing this for close to 3 months, with the CEO of United coming out and portraying it out that he wants to land Hary Kane to Man United in the summer, 4 months in, when that story was put out, nothing has been agreed with with Hary Kane. All right, we understand. Daniel Levy is going to play a hard game. That's it. So, have you agreed personal terms with the player? That's the hugest bit of my conversation and my argument. So, I understand that this is a spin. They knew to it that it was hard, even before they put it out in the media, but they knew that they had to spin it around to say to it that they really brief or feed the fans with stories that they would send the fans into a sympathy mode towards the Glazers. But no one is going to be sympathetic about you, mates, because you are doing a very horrible job for the manager. Teams are signing in. Look at Arsenal. Yesterday, they've just gone ahead to put in a bid of £105 million for Declan Rice. Now, if Arsenal can, why can't we? Why can't we? So, that's why we are calling them out. We want them out because they've shown that they are not really important enough to run this club. They're not the right owners of the club of Man United, because even Mason Mount, who has no team that is fighting with us, we've failed to land the deal, you know? So it's coming to 5 weeks, you know, and you're doing one deal. Look at Arsenal. Kai Havertz is going to be announced today. Julian Timber, here we go, might happen today or tomorrow. Declan Rice, here we go, might happen today or tomorrow. You know, they've worked on 3 deals concurrently, right? So that is something that we need to rectify from Man United, and really, we don't want to give excuses that Hary Kane, it's going to take long. All right, you are willing to buy Hary Kane at £100 million. That is close to 120 million euros. Why don't you go ahead and really pay that amount of money to Benfica and get in Goncalo Ramos, or pay 80 million euros to Atalanta and get in Rasmus Højlund? Simple, you know. All those are excuses that are really lame and don't have human legs to walk. So the Glazers aren't going away with this because they are just costing Erik ten Hag what he would have had as a best season into a worst season because they are setting him to fail. Let's go to the David De Gea situation, being revealed to us by Daniel Taylor. He's a senior football writer at The Athletic. He has told us that David De Gea accepted Manchester United's offer on drastically reduced terms. He then headed off for the summer break, told his teammates he would see them again in July. However, the paperwork was never completed at the club's end, meaning that the club is the one holding down the contract of David De Gea. He continued to say that something changed in terms of how much Man United wanted to pay David De Gea and how long for. De Gea was then informed that the original contract offer was no longer relevant and new terms were available, which would mean another considerable reduction in salary. That is it. So it shows you how this board is really stupid at their job. Then he concluded by saying David De Gea still has not decided what to do. As things stand, he is going to be out of contract at Man United on Friday, officially a free agent. Now, where in the world does an elite team act like this? You agree terms and conditions. After agreeing terms and conditions, then when the player goes on his holiday, then you tell him, we have new conditions to offer to you on which you are going to put pen to paper onto this contract. So, why do you turn heel on a player who has been here for a very, very long time? You know, if you wanted him to go, you would have told him that your game versus Man City is the last game for Man United. Bid failed to the fans of Man United. And when you're appealing against Fulham 2, do the same. You understand? But David De Gea has been here for close to 12 years. A decade plus 2 years. So, they are treating him like this. If I told him David De Gea, I don't return to Man United. I just call it off and find myself somewhere else. Go to Saudi Arabia, chew your money, because these people are unappreciative. They did this to Patrice Evra. I think you heard his story, you know. They did this to Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville. All those people I'm talking about, they never got a chance to say their goodbyes to the fans of Man United, a team that they had dedicated their entire time to. All those players were here a decade plus. Gary Neville was here for 2 decades, and very many others. That is very much bad for the club of Man United to act in the way they are really acting. So, I anticipate that a memorandum of understanding is going to be reached between David De Gea and Man United very soon, and by Friday, we would have known what decision has been taken by Man United. So guys, your thoughts on to Greenwood Mourinho reunion are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about the reason as to why United pulled out of the Hary Kane deal? Is it sounding or it's unsounding? And lastly, David De Gea situation. What do you have to say about it? As we are linked to very many other goalkeepers. FC Porto offering us Diego Costa and Andre Onana. Talks progressing. A sign out for now. See you later. Happy Eid Aduha. I'm out.